and welcome live to the LV Home Experts Radio Show, where we talk about real estate and financing. Today we have a very special guest, Austin. We are going to be talking about the historic downtown of Las Vegas and what you need to know. So again, if this is your first time tuning into this channel, I just want to say welcome. I do appreciate it. How's everything going, guys?
Amazing. How about you?
I'm doing great.
Happy to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm happy to be here, too, man. I think you got too many awards, though. They're starting to cover your face over there. So,
oh, you think so?
Yeah, you're going to have to move them at some point.
You know what's funny is I'll leave it here just for a little bit, then I'll, like, change it up. You know what I mean? Like, I'll move it out of the way because it just blocks everything.
They'll be like, Chakits, you over there? I can't see you, Chakits.
I did a video one. I did one where I was, like, panning across, and I had, like, this big old trophy. It was, like, 6 feet tall. I thought it was kind of funny. Yeah. I don't know if you guys seen that or not, but I thought it was cool.
Send me the link.
Austin, how's everything going, man?
Everything is wonderful.
Yeah? You look good on camera, though.
Thank you.
Dude.
You had a shave, get all cleaned up.
You look like a young cat, man. How old are you? I'm curious.
32.
32? And you're selling real estate.
Shit, actually, I'm even wrong on that right now. I'm 30. I'll be 32 this year. But
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about a couple things. I want my audience to know exactly who you are, when you got into business, and I'm going to go right into downtown Las Vegas because that's what you specialize in, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about this. First of all, what company are you with right now?
My wife and I are with Keller Williams, Southern Nevada.
Okay, that's
right down the way.
Danny Siegberg and Jamie Velez.
Exactly.
You tell Jamie and Danny and tell them I say what's up.
I'll tell them what's up. Good dudes over there.
I actually used to hang my license with Keller Williams at one point.
Yeah.
I think for about like a year.
You guys like it there? I mean, compared to other, like, I don't know if you've been to other companies, but they offer what you're looking for?
Yeah, man. I mean, we joined them 7 years ago when we got into real estate originally. And from the beginning, in the very beginning, they offered the information that we needed. And then I can't even tell you the last time that we went into the office. We run everything from the home office. So, you know what I mean? Like, Jamie's an incredible broker for when we need help or something, some shit hits the fan. And, that's really all we ask for at the moment. So,
Jamie's a tough cat, but when it comes to like contracts and stuff like that, he's very on point. And I did a lot of deals with Jamie, and I like doing deals with him. Yeah.
He's, anytime that we need him, man, he's there and he takes care of it,
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's really like, if there's something that I was looking for out of an office, it's that. I don't need help often, but when I do.
So how long have you been selling real estate?
7 years.
7 years?
We would have got in at 2015.
Oh, 2015.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I guess you did get in. Wait, when was the crash? I forgot. Oh, 2009, 2008.
Yeah, I mean,
it was 2009, 2008.
I think it was a good time because things were starting to peak up. Like I'm not saying that you haven't had to go through things, but.
Well, he hasn't.
but listen, here's the adversity. The adversity is now, like, we see a market that I see agents jumping out because this is now a real test of your, I don't know, I don't want to say it on camera, but it's a test to you can you survive,
Yeah. I think I felt like that from the beginning for real estate. Of 99% of real estate agents don't seem like they're actually in it to win it. You know what I mean? They're helping a cousin or a friend, a family member, but the amount of people or real estate agents that felt like they were in it to become experts and to become really, really good at what they did from the beginning, it just kind of felt light,
It's a very hard industry to get into. A lot of people get into it, like what you're saying.
Yeah.
They'll do a couple deals and they think they're crushing it. By a year or two, they realize like, wait, there's more to it than this.
Yeah, it's depending on when you get in.
Yeah,
it's lucrative.
Yeah,
it's feast or famine.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the biggest concerns in 2015 when we were getting licensed was like, well, what happens when it crashes, right? And I mean, I think Jamie Velez and all right, we're good. One of the things that I learned from that, I mean, I think they made the majority of their money during the crash and after the crash because they were able to adjust to what happened and be able to flow with it. And so from the beginning, it was just realizing like, all right, this wasn't a game for us. We were really setting out to build something and to become good at what we did. And it ain't been easy though, you know what I mean? And we haven't gone through, what, maybe somebody who's gone through 2007, 2008.
Have you been with them for 7 years now?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. All right. So you mentioned that, how old you were again? I'm sorry.
31.
31. You've been in business now for 7 years.
Yep.
Okay. So how do you get most of your clientele?
All of it is Instagram and YouTube.
Oh, really?
100%. Yeah. So we, in the very beginning, we did the very traditional marketing, door knocking, cold calling, and I just hated it, man. You know what I mean? You'd asked in the beginning, like, oh, have you guys thought about quitting? And I mean, we almost quit so many times throughout that 6 years.
Yeah.
And it was about 3 years ago, we just said, all right, real estate financially was what had done well for us, but internally we just weren't happy, and we kind of just went for it with the content stuff. We said, if we can create content that we'd want to watch and just be ourselves, well, hypothetically, then we should be able to get leads from that. And now all of our business comes from Instagram and YouTube.
Oh, from social media.
Yeah, from social
So
media.
are those the only 2 platforms right now that you are using?
At the moment, yeah. We've been plugging away at Instagram for 3 years really hard now, and we're just starting to like really get some momentum there, and then we're still very much building that momentum on the YouTube side.
I don't know what is going on, but York, come on through, man.
Yorkie.
Thank you. I appreciate it, bud. It's okay. Now I just lost my train of thought. Where were we, guys? Oh, getting started. So most of your stuff is it from Instagram or YouTube?
We're very fortunate because we get a probably steady stream from Instagram.
Yeah.
But we did a collaboration with Pomsey, which I'm pretty sure you know who Pomsey is. I think he said he actually shot for you before.
Yeah,
something like
he
that.
did.
And we did a video actually on downtown Las Vegas.
Okay, that's cool.
And so that video just absolutely killed it for us. And so we see kind of this like not directly from our YouTube that comes in, but they'll watch his video. They go to our Instagram, they go to our YouTube, our Zillow, and then they kind of reach out from there.
Okay, that's cool. So you mentioned that you had a team, right? Was it you and your wife?
Me and my wife, and then we have 2 agents for us and an assistant.
Okay. So what is your role? What is it that you do?
Oh man. Just this last, I'd say 6 months, we've really been able to pull back from doing way too many things, trying to do everything.
Yeah.
And we are heavily on the marketing side now. So like actually creating content and then managing the real estate agents.
Okay.
So, at the moment we filled all the leads that come in. So if you reach out to us, you're going to be talking with me first, and then I will get you connected with either Vince or Jen from there. And then we manage the process from kind of that overhead view of like, okay, where's Chakits at? Where, did he get pre-approved? What's his timeline look like? And then all the way through the process. But slowly pulling off of that, mainly to that marketing side of it.
So for your wife, her position, besides bossing you around, what does she do?
Making sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and everything's done properly. Man, Sam's everything on the back end.
Okay. Like a transaction coordinator?
No, like bigger picture. So, like for the content that we're creating, at the moment, I'm really kind of on the story side of it. Sam's on the visual side of it. So, you know what I mean? Making sure the videos look nice. And then I would say between managing Vince and Jen, it's very much 50-50 between my wife and I, and like on making sure all of the real estate stuff gets done. So less on like the nitty gritty details, like a transaction coordinator, but more on, she's very much helping me on that back end, manage the team and make sure that nothing's being missed.
And do you have a transaction coordinator?
We do.
Okay. Yeah. And how many deals are you guys doing a month?
Oh man, I mean, in this last year we did I think 26 deals. So whatever that breaks down to, it's all right. It's
that's great.
It's good-ish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the beginning for us though.
And this is all business that you're creating on your own.
100%.
That's great.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah. I wish I did 26 deals. Like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you've been in business what, 7 years?
Yeah.
Oh, check this out. We have what is that? What are those things called? I was gonna say super chat. $4.99.
It is, isn't it? A super chat?
Super chat, right? Yeah, super chat. There you go. We haven't had one for so long, so I do appreciate that, D.
You caught me off guard.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wait, what is this?
Is this something I don't know?
Yeah. So, how did you specialize like into the downtown? Like, what made you pick that sector? Say, hey, I'm going to focus on downtown.
Yeah, man. We just thought about who we wanted to work with as clients.
Yeah.
And so initially getting the business, we were over here off of St. Rose and Eastern, and just being young, hungry real estate agents, we helped kind of every type of client, young, old, every piece of the city. And like, we were very appreciative of everything that we learned, but we quickly realized that like, we got into real estate to help people that were kind of like ourselves. And maybe a little bit more of that misfit vibe.
What does that mean?
You know, man, I mean, we smoke weed, we do mushrooms, we go to raves. We're young, hardworking individuals who have been able to do things that I think that, you know, not everybody would agree with. And we quickly realized that, you know, maybe the couple who wants to live in the nicest part of Green Valley didn't vibe with, but like our people were downtown. They're the ones who wanted to live in the city, be close to the bars, you know, who we were going to run into at EDC. And that culture, it was a mixture of that, of saying, okay, I think our people are interested, or people like us are interested in downtown because we're interested in it, right? And I lived in Orange County for 7 years. I turned 21 in Orange County, and in Orange County you have, you know, 21st Street, Newport, you have 2nd Street, Long Beach, downtown Fullerton. You have these little areas of Southern California, where as a young person, you can go bar hopping. They have these cool, weird, funky bars, and it doesn't look like everything else. It's not all super maintained and perfectly manicured. You might see someone who's homeless, and you might see a millionaire on the same sidewalk, right? Yeah. And it's that kind of like diversity that really attracted us to downtown, and it just feels like home, man. Like, you know, every now and then, like, people are like, downtown's ghetto, but it's like, dude, I feel more comfortable downtown than, you know, some other places.
I don't know, man. Every time I walk down Fremont Street, I'm like, gotta check my pockets. You know what I mean? There's like so much going down on Fremont Street. I feel like, oh my God, something's about to go down. But for me, like, if you want to go party, that's definitely a place to go party. Like all the locals.
Exactly.
I was watching some old mob stories.
Yeah.
And mob pictures and videos. A lot of it's changed, obviously, but there's still some things down there that still have some of the resemblance of what it was like back then. You know, and it's like they're all connected. You can go from one right across the street to another, right? And it's just a different vibe.
100%.
Now let me rewind this for a second. I want to go back to smoking weed, doing mushrooms, not giving a shit, right? I mean, that's pretty blunt to say that. I mean, aren't you like afraid to say, you know what, if I say this out loud, I may not get those clients. But I'm also going to say I do like that about you, right? Because in this industry, I realize there's enough business to go around, and it's a whole nother generation. And I realize if you don't like me, let's not do business. Exactly. I only want to do people. I only want to do business with people that like me, right?
You know, man, I mean, I think I was scared in the beginning because you know, Sam and I both came from corporate jobs, and, you know, it's just, I think life is so easy to say, I don't want to bump anybody the wrong way or like and offend anybody. And so I'm just going to kind of stay in my lane. That's similar to everybody else. But you know what was more scarier was just like living life and being unhappy and not being myself. So, you know, it's just like, that was kind of the Hail Mary we threw 3 years ago, was like, we came out on Instagram. You know, we started putting out content on Instagram that was saying this from 3 years ago. And it was very much like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen? But the thing is that if you, like, all of our clients, I don't want to say all of our clients, I'd say 90% of our clients are young professionals who are extremely successful. Yeah. And maybe even older. We get 50, 60, 70-year-old clients. But if you smoke weed, you do mushrooms, you're still young, successful, that's who you vibe with, right? Yeah. So is there clients out there that will lose because, you know, we say that 100%, but you know what, dude, like, if they're not cool with that, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, we're not right for them. And that's totally fine. You know, we have love for everybody, man. So like, even if somebody doesn't agree with us, like, dude, that's your choice. That's awesome. Like, you have a choice to disagree with that. And this is how I am. And
it definitely does kind of mix with downtown, like young, hip, and smoking weed.
I wonder what the slogan would be, and you can present it to Keller Williams like, you smoke weed, we're for you.
Right. Something like
Keller Williams would be like, wait a second, we got to get that approved through marketing.
Yeah, man. You know, we just dropped a video today on our YouTube channel about our first mushroom trip from 2012.
Oh, really?
And that was a video that we wanted to make for a long time, but we wanted to do it justice. And it's a good video. Okay. I think it's worth checking out. But yeah, man, you know, the people who vibe with it, they vibe with it. They like it. And I can tell you that the clients that we get, they love us, and they don't want to go anywhere else because they feel like we're their people, you know?
Cool. So I want to get more into downtown here now. So I want to give the viewers a little bit better perspective. So as you can see on the map here, okay, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. This is the south side, the west side, the north side, and here's the east side. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit right about here. So right here is the Las Vegas Strip. So the Las Vegas Strip right here, and here's downtown right here. And we have Naked City. So we're going to start from Naked City. Are you pretty familiar with Naked City? The art district here?
100%.
Okay.
What is that
I
exactly?
was going to say Naked City.
Well, that's what we call it, Naked City.
Why is that?
I don't know. That was like the term a long time ago. So I think the reason why they called it Naked City is because
There's a bunch of naked people.
no, basically downtown, right here in the Fremont area, they were revitalizing everything, but then, the strip kind of stopped off right here off of Sahara. Yep. Then at that point, they started connecting the downtown to the main strip area, and that's what we call Naked City.
Yep. And
this is a term like 15 years ago. But obviously on here it says the art district. And have you been to the First Friday?
To the First Friday, yes, yeah.
Obviously you have.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is where it's at. And if you
100%.
guys never been there, I think it's something that you have to experience, right?
That's more for locals.
Oh,
Right.
we got another $4.99 super chat. What's up, Dan? Best lender in town.
What up?
But I'm taking that $4.99. Sorry about that.
Man.
We get
See how-
paid
see how he
today.
takes
It's like reminiscent of a school kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Taking your
Lunch money. Like, yo, give me your shit.
Yeah.
Dog. No. All right, so let's go back to the art district downtown. So tell us a little bit more about this area.
Man, the art district is really cool because we're starting to see that just in this last year or 2 years really start to come around, right? I mean, I think Tony Shea and the Downtown Project put a ton of effort and money into Fremont East. And that was where we really started to see like what downtown potential wise had happened. And Main Street has kind of lagged behind Fremont East because that's not where the attention was. Whereas it feels like, man, Fremont East now that it's been like, it's like 90% revitalized. Almost everything's open down there. And now it feels like the people who maybe held off on investing Fremont East, like the businesses, now they're realizing, okay, something's going on downtown. Let's go to the art district. And, the city just did Brewery Row now.
Yeah.
So now you have all the different breweries right there where you can go bar hopping and kind of do that. And like you said, I mean, First Friday is just it's a wild event. You know what I mean? I mean, they close all the streets down.
Yeah.
There's people everywhere.
Do you live close there?
Yeah. We're one exit away from downtown.
So
That's cool.
Is your like Friday and Saturday, is that like your whole scene? Is it like the downtown area, or you guys kind of venture out of the downtown area?
Man, I mean, for a long time it was. Now we work so much, so friends like, oh, we're going downtown, we're gonna go drinking, and we haven't really drank for this last year, so we've kind of stayed away from the bar scene. But that like if we're gonna go out to dinner, like we go downtown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we're like, let's go grab coffee, we're gonna go downtown.
Yeah.
That's funny that you say that because every week I'm downtown.
Yeah.
Like we always go to the restaurants down there.
Oh, really? You go downtown that much?
Yeah, I think we probably eat there like once a week downtown. Yeah. We'll eat like at a 4-star restaurant.
I'll go maybe once a month just to see if something's changed, and just kind of hang out. But I don't know. You gotta kind of be in that vibe consistently. I feel.
It's a whole different lifestyle.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the day that the mask ban got lifted, we went downtown and we ate at Eureka. You know what I mean? And it was just a trip. Like it was I think it was a Tuesday, and we're sitting outside on their patio. The day that the mask ban got lifted, it was like 65 degrees out. It's just a beautiful night. Like Fremont Street was just popping. I mean, it looked like before Corona, right? And the waitress walks up. She has no mask on her face. You can see her smile. And
John Hess, $20 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Damn, we get paid today.
Hey, you get $100. Chuck's gonna dance on that table right there.
Hell yeah, give me $100. I'm dancing on this thing. You dancing on this? We all dancing. So I want to show you guys what's going on here with the map. So we got Las Vegas Boulevard right here, right? So if you take a look on Las Vegas Boulevard, they're actually rehabbing all this area. And Main Street right here, if you notice, at night, there's a bunch of restaurants here that you can go down. And there's a lot of good bars and restaurants down here. So this is kind of like a hip and poppin'. However, if you go down Main Street here, so now we are coming into the downtown area, like the courthouse and all that stuff. But I want to show you guys where Fremont is, like the main strip here. Here's Ogden, Stewart. Where are we at? Okay, Fremont right here. So if you come down east on Fremont, it eventually turns into Boulder, right? Boulder Highway. Yep. So this is where the neon lights are at and all that stuff, right? Exactly. Where a lot of people go out and party and have some fun. But now I'm going to zoom out just a little bit because all these homes here, right? Fremont East District, okay? What you're going to notice about this area here is this is really the historic downtown. So back in the early 30s and the 40s, all the people that used to work here on the Fremont Strip, right? Because this used to be like the Mecca place to go gamble before they actually had the Las Vegas Strip. So a lot of your casino workers would actually work on this side. And what I noticed is if you come on this side of Charleston here, now we're going to get into the McNeil Estates. Yep. Now, when I first sold my first home and my first open house was actually at McNeil Estates. Now,
sick.
I want to talk about McNeil Estates because this is like one of those locations where you don't realize how beautiful it is because you think, hey, it's downtown, it's old. Because when you come to Vegas, everything you look at is brand new. Everybody wants to be in a master plan community or just something that's just new. Here, it's a little bit different. Have you guys ever seen that show, The Wonder Years?
No, never heard of it.
Oh, you never heard of it? Oh, well, you heard of it, right?
Oh, yeah. Winnie Cooper?
Yeah, there you go.
Who doesn't know Winnie Cooper?
So, to give you an idea, if you guys ever seen that show, that's how this community feels. You got wide streets, right? You got sidewalks on both sides. You got a lot of vegetation all over the place.
Landscaping.
Yes, exactly. And the lots are a lot bigger. Now, when I did my first open house here, I got a little bit of history lesson from one of the owners. And they were telling me in the McNeil Estates, back then, if you lived here, this was like living in like one of the most luxurious places, right? You had attorneys and judges living in these homes.
Still do.
Yes, which is very fascinating.
So right there on Charleston,
yeah,
that community like you're talking about.
Yeah.
So we did open house over there.
We did?
Not you.
Okay, I was about to say, I don't think so.
So it was weird because this lady was doing an open house. You walked in and she had like dancing going on, hors d'oeuvres, and it's like all these trees and all these bushes and things kind of covered that area.
Yep.
Fantastic homes in there.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful homes in there.
So let's talk about McNeil Estates a little bit. What do you know about the McNeil Estates?
I mean, it's really like what you're talking about, right? Where it's mostly quarter acre to half acre lots in there. It's very much like a business professional person who lives in there. A lot of our clients that want to purchase in McNeil, they're moving from the East Coast, they're moving from California, they're moving from somewhere where they want to feel like they're in the city. They still want that landscaping though. They want to be in the mix of it. And man, it's just a beautiful community, right? I mean, it's like the 4 or 5 streets that run north to south, and how
much are pricing going over there for? What are you seeing?
We just did a video on a property. I mean, it was a 1,900 square foot house, priced at I think $749. Right.
Wow.
I mean, there was another one that we just shot probably a couple of weeks back. That was like a 4,000 square foot house. The one that was $749 had been heavily renovated. There's another one that we shot that was like a 4,000 square foot house, needed to be renovated. Selling for about $800,000. So I mean, the least expensive you're gonna find in McNeil. I mean, man, you'd be lucky to find something in there for under $600,000, up to $1 million. Because if you look at McNeil, the very north street in McNeil is Ashby. And then Ashby is all multi-million-dollar homes. I mean, those are like on acre properties, and they're gonna be selling between $1 to $2 million in there.
That's crazy. Now, the other thing with McNeil Estates that I like, everything is pretty much flat and open.
Yep.
It's not like houses like clustered together. So
you have space in between.
Exactly. So when you're driving, everything just looks completely open, which is really nice. But it's like a whole nother world. But also what I notice is that this community is coming back because a lot of investors or people that buy in there, they're buying based upon the neighborhood to get that feel to raise their kids, right?
I would almost go one step farther to say McNeil never lost. In the 7 years that we've been dealing with downtown, there's a lot of communities I see coming back for downtown. Man, McNeil, though, has just stayed nice. McNeil's the type of community that even though there's no HOA, if your lawn starts to look busted or weeds start to grow, you start to let it go, like you're going to have your neighbors knocking and very politely asking like, hey, you mind?
Cut your grass.
Yeah, you mind cleaning this up? You know what I mean?
That's got to be embarrassing.
It's a pride of ownership, man. You know what I mean? And it really is that thing of where the people that live in there, like they want to live in there, and they value that 100%.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in like Henderson areas and stuff like that. They just store stuff on their lawn because there's no HOA.
Yeah,
in some of those places, so they just got stuff, and it's weird. You go that part of town, you go over there.
Yeah,
it's completely different. It just depends on the community.
And you know what's great about this is because it's right here off of Charleston, so you have the UMC.
Yep.
So it's kind of like the medical district. So it's very easy to rent out homes if you ever bought one for an investment property.
Yeah.
But also you're very close to downtown. I mean, you could like literally see, you come right across and you're here. You see what I'm saying?
One of the things about those homes too is they're like vintage style homes.
Yeah, so they're
that's
considered
a big thing, right?
desert modern. So they have this like mid-century modern style to it because a lot of them were built between like 50s to 70s.
Yeah.
And they were built with like the sun and the Vegas heat in mind. So even how the windows are and how the roofs are pitched were built, you know, for very much for the desert, but to look like nice and custom.
Now, what about this area right here? If we come up Alta, then you have all these $1 million homes. So are you pretty familiar with this neighborhood here?
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, that's a shout out to Pasquale Rotella, who's you know, who's up in these neighborhoods for those who know Pasquale.
Look at this.
That's going to be Rancho Nevada.
Okay.
And man, I mean, I think that like for me, for my wife Sam, that's like a dream community right there, right? I mean, it's like that's like McNeil on steroids.
Yeah.
It's guard gated. You drive in, and all of the houses in there are going to be multi-million. They're all going to be on like half acre, very custom type homes. And then Rancho Circle to the right of where you're looking, just to the east right there. That's going to be very much like old Vegas money, all multi-million dollar properties in there. And then even south of Alta, that's going to be the Pinto
right here
neighborhood, and that's going to be multi-million dollars. That's
these lots
gated,
are huge, though.
Huge.
It's a different mindset because builders, and maybe those are more custom, but they were building just completely different at that time.
Yeah.
You know, now it's just how much can I put in a parcel of land, you know, like, so now it's just different.
And I mean, going back to like Vegas mob life, right? And I mean, I think that's what Chakits, you started to say was like, you know, you had this, you know, these houses over here on the east side, closer to Fremont East, and then you had the houses on the west of the 15. And it definitely, when you start to go through and like look up who used to live in these houses, you start to see those mob names, the old Vegas names, some big players. You know,
so should you be setting up the expectation if somebody's going to be buying there that they're probably going to have to do some sort of upgrades to the home? Because remember, these homes were built in the early 40s. So like plumbing wise, you have cast iron, which could also collapse. The reason why I know this is because on the east side of the 15 on McNeil Estates, I bought a couple investment properties, which is also the historic downtown, but not as expensive as this. But I realized when I went to go rehab the home, I started opening up a can of worms, one thing after another. So is this something that you're going to educate your clients on and be prepared
100%.
For something like this?
100%. You know what I mean? And so I think one of the first things that I'll get asked a lot is like, you know, like, is it going to need more work because it's old? And the honest truth is that the age of it has a lot of times less to deal with it than how it's been taken care of. I've been in a 2014 home that was built terribly. It was trashed by renters, and it needs a huge rehab. And I've helped clients purchase properties from the 1950s that like, they're like, yo, we've lived here for 5 years now and literally not had to do a thing. So much of it has to do with having a solid inspector, right?
Yeah.
And making sure. And if there's any kind of like anything weird going with electrical, plumbing, roofing, air conditioning, then it's getting an expert out to say, okay, hey, why is the plumbing being a little bit weird? Is this a serious issue? Is this something where we're going to have to completely rip everything out and replace it? Or is this something smaller going on? You know, and so there's always that possibility, but that's really with any house.
Okay. So now I want to take a look at this map here. We're going to go a little bit more on the east side of the 15. Yep. We're going to zoom in just a little bit. So here's another main road right here is actually Charleston.
Yep.
So I'm going to say this sweet spot is going to be from Charleston to Bruce, the 515, and also let's just say the freeway, the 15. So like all in here, this is where I bought a bunch of my investment properties. And I remember when I bought my first investment property here, this thing was only like $18,000.
Sounds about right.
But I had to rehab it. But now these things are worth like $350,000. Yeah. Now Fremont, let's talk about Fremont Street here. And going back to Tony Shea, unfortunately he had passed away. But I know that Tony Shea had a deal where he provided, I think it was like $350 million to the city.
Like that, yeah.
But he allocated on how he wanted to spend the money. So he put the money back in to downtown. So the reason why downtown is thriving the way it is because of Tony Shea.
100%.
So I want to give credit to that.
Yeah.
But I noticed that on Fremont Street here, he pretty much bought all these parcels all down here. Some of them are boarded up, right? And what's going on with all these?
It's a one by one thing, man. I mean, so it's like you'll see this spot that's boarded up, and 6 months later, somebody has moved in, they're renovating it, and now you have these two spots kind of across the way, and then 6 months later, this one gets unboarded and being taken care of, right? And so, I mean, there was Tony Shea came out in 2012, and he was bringing Zappos out to Vegas, and he wanted to have a bigger impact on Las Vegas than just opening up shop, right? And so that was where he took on the downtown project. And it's just been, I mean, it's 10 years in the making, and really just in the last 3 years started to like pick up steam, you know what I mean? And it's just, you can't do it all at once. But when you know, a really fun thing to do is if you do Google Street View, and it'll give you the little history timeline. You can do the history like 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And if you do a little spin on it, man, you'll just see how one by one these places are being, you know, taken care of and redone. I mean, even a huge shout out to the owner of Commonwealth. It's the same person who owns Park on Fremont. They're opening up a really cool like ice cream shop downtown, and that guy, man, has done so much for downtown.
Even
too.
Derek Stevens, man, he's done a lot too, man. Open up the casino. He's been buying a lot of dirt out there, doing a lot of stuff. Him and his brother. Also, the other thing I noticed with Tony Hsieh, with that money, some of it was actually allocated towards small businesses. So like that's why you see a lot of small businesses out there where he was literally giving away money, like if he wanted to open up a shop. So I think that's kind of cool. I mean, that's like the whole foundation of it, right? I mean, the only reason why you and I go downtown is because there's cool restaurants, there's cool shit to do, and that was what they got down there. You know what I mean? They started saying, hey, if you open up a restaurant down here, you open up a shop, we're gonna make it easy for you. Downtown Henderson's doing the same thing for Water Street District right now. I think if I had a choice, I think I would rather be here versus downtown Henderson. But downtown 100%. Henderson is still growing.
100%.
Because it's all new now. Because I was just down there recently, but I do like this area a lot better, though.
100%.
Because it's more young and hip, you know what I mean? Now, the other thing is that the roads and the streets, too, as well. Some of the money was also allocated towards redoing the streets and all that stuff, which is, I think, is great. Because everything is starting to look brand new out there. So there's a lot of money that's coming in and out of downtown.
I think too, you look at, you know, who it attracts.
Yeah.
What was the purpose of it? It was to get locals.
Yep.
You know,
Live, work, play.
Yeah, I mean, you got people that still travel and they can take, you know, it's cheaper to stay on the strip than staying on the strip to downtown. But there's a lot of locals that just go down there and they call it like it's part of their deal. Like they go out there and they just have fun, just like you. Yep. And I can't say I go down to the strip and have the same atmosphere. I just can't. I can't feel like myself. It's there's a certain way you have to be. You have to pay. You know, everything's got to be structured. You know, there's constant. You know, but when you're in downtown, it's almost like you could just be yourself, like you were saying,
man.
And that's what you're talking about.
Yep.
But also, I noticed certain areas in downtown, it is still a little bit rough. All right, I'm gonna say there's still like homeless walking around, which is sad by the way. But I mean, it all kind of clashes. But I think that's just kind of like the environment down there. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's a personality, man. You know what I mean? I think
it's culture.
To me, that's what it is, and. You know, I think it's so easy to look at somebody who's driving like a nice car or well-spoken and be like, that's a good human. And then it's like, oh man, that's an eyesore to see someone who's homeless. But like, dude, we're all just human. Yeah. And to somebody who maybe didn't grow up with that or hasn't been around that, maybe it's scary because things that are different than ourselves or things that are different than us, it's scary, right? It's meant to be.
That's a good point.
But dude, you know, man, like we're downtown all the time. I'm not a big, tough, scary guy. And like, you know, we live again one exit away from downtown. We're in an older community. We see homeless people and like, dude, they're just it's a homeless person.
Well, it's you know, it's like this. So you go talk to somebody, right? You can pass judgment right then,
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
You can be like, I'm not doing it, right?
Yep.
But I think being like having an open mind to understanding, you might not have to agree with these people, but just listening to where their story came from because you didn't walk in their shoes. Maybe they have something different. That doesn't mean you're going to go and say, okay, I'm going to do what they did because, you know, or just follow and say, I agree with it. Or they're going to
bother me. You know what I mean?
But at least, you're giving them a chance.
Exactly.
That's
what I'm saying is the environment with downtown Fremont versus Las Vegas Strip is completely polar opposites.
Yeah.
Completely.
And to that point, I mean, if you were looking, right, like, so you have Fremont Street Experience, which is going to feel very Las Vegas Strip. It's going to feel very much like, you know what I mean, the people who are there. It's just kind of like that weirdness. And then Fremont East, as soon as you cross over Las Vegas Boulevard, really has, it has that local vibe, man. You know what I mean? Like, go down there, grab pizza, and you run into your friends.
Okay.
Yeah, it's acceptable too to like walk down the street. You got people sitting there banging on stuff that's drums that they just invented. Like it's not even.
Bro.
It's just like, you know, some buckets.
Yeah.
You know, some metal tin things that they put together.
Yeah.
Girls are wearing stuff that's not really But I mean, dude, they're
just
making
get
money.
everything.
Yeah.
You get all walks of life.
Yeah. And I mean, to kind of take it back, right, to like how downtown is still coming around. Like, I think we're 10 years out from Summerlin people thinking downtown's cool. And the city isn't going to stop until it's polished. Like, it's going to at some point be polished. I think the difference is that you have massive graffiti murals everywhere, right? They do Life is
I think, is
Beautiful
cool.
down there.
Yeah.
So sick, right? And I think it's going to have its own little vibe. But, you know, it's just like as humans, when we go to getting better at anything, improving yourself is not a pretty thing, right? Like, as you learn how to make videos, it's not a pretty thing. I know you're not good at it. And it's the same thing with the city, man. The city's improving that area. There's parts of it that are absolutely beautiful, really well taken care of. I think there's streets and stuff that's still going to come around, but it's only a matter of time until we see downtown like completely polished and
I don't think
polished for downtown.
Do you think it's going to lose some of its luster though, where they're going to completely just go away from it altogether as far as that cultural thing, that, you know, the dynamic of different people? Because look, you got to keep some of it. I mean, I know they're polishing it, but I'm just saying, maybe are they going to just like do away with a lot of that stuff? Or are they?
I don't think so, man.
I don't think so either.
I don't think, and I'm saying, I think polish normally gets associated with something like Summerlin or like Green Valley, and so you know, I don't want to, let's take back polish. I think at some point they're going to be done renovating downtown Las Vegas, and the streets are, and the sidewalks and the lights and all of the little aesthetic things that give downtown its vibe is going to be done, you know, 360.
Have you ever heard about that movie theater? It's called, I think it was called the Huntridge.
The Huntridge?
The Huntridge.
Huntridge. That's what it was.
Huntridge.
Something. So when I first got out here, right, I actually went to a movie over there.
That's sick.
Dude, it was kind of cool. And I didn't really think nothing of it. But now at least I had the opportunity to go watch a movie.
They might bring
out
that
there.
back, right?
So what's going on with that? You know anything about that?
Yeah, that's Dapper, right? So Dapper, that property over there has been kind of like through ownership, but they have ownership who partnered with a company who is like professionals on like vintage architecture and this kind of thing. And so they're going to bring Huntridge back. And
so it will be a movie theater, right?
Yeah, but I thought they had a lot of shows there, like
they do
concerts.
Shows,
yeah,
concerts.
Exactly.
That's what it was, right?
So I think the last concert was in like the 90s. They had like reopened it for a little bit, and then like the roof collapsed or something like that. But the history of that entire area. So if you even go back farther, the people who originally lived in that downtown area, like if you pull up the map again, south of Charleston, they started building those homes out in a time. It was right before the war, and no other city was able to build. But so south of Charleston, you can zoom out a little bit.
Okay, so this is the Huntridge right here, right? Okay,
that's the Huntridge right there. You have Circle Park.
Okay,
and then
how far south?
To Oakey, more or less. So from Oakey to Charleston.
Okay.
That whole area right there, they actually started building those for the people who were coming out here for the war. Like Vegas was given money right leading up to World War II in order to be able to start building homes because they had Nellis Air Force Base out here in Creech. And so a lot of these people, these were people who had something to do with the military. And then they would go to the Huntridge because it was pretty much the only source of entertainment for hundreds of miles. You
know what's crazy is I own a bunch of investment properties here. This is actually the main McNeil Estates. Then when you start coming up west here, right, as you can see, you have streets number 11, 10. We have Attorney Row over here. You want to talk about Attorney Row?
Yeah, I mean, so that's the city took those houses that are just north of Charleston, kind of between like Clark and 6th, sorry, and they turned them into commercial. So they moved them from residential to commercial, and so you have these really cool homes that are built between like the 40s, 50s, and as you drive through there, they're like law offices and attorneys. It's kind of weird. You go into I went to an attorney once over there. And it was like a house.
I did too.
Yeah.
And it was like
there's no parking.
Yeah.
It's just a house.
It's like
you park on the street.
But I mean, they got like these like 5-car parking spots. You know, it's not like a traditional. I'm going to a.
But it's kind of cool though. I mean, it's different. So I mean, obviously, our court, our downtown, all that stuff is all down here with our court system and stuff. So it would actually make a lot of sense. Now, moving south on the Charleston side. Now, what I noticed about this area here. When I was buying my investment properties on this side, I started moving along this side, and I realized,
John S. Parker.
Dude, it's very expensive over here.
It's a little mini McNeil, right there. So if you're looking 5th Street, 6th, 7th, that's John S. Park. Beautiful. It's historic, and it's Very, very nice right there.
And if you are into like more that mid-century type of homes, those designs are still out there. So let me tell you guys this. If you guys are planning on purchasing a property out there, right, make sure not to rehab completely everything, the exterior. Leave the exterior because you want to leave that, keep the historic.
100%,
right?
man.
Because that's where that value is. You see what I'm saying?
You know, in my search to remove ego, you know, I you know, for a long time, I had a very bad outlook on flippers for downtown because you just see some of these really cool vintage homes, man, they're almost untouched for 40, 50 years. And then some first-time flipper comes through and they rip everything that has character and this emotion to it.
There's things you got to keep.
And they paint it all looks the same. You know what I mean? And I think I'm in a better place now with it of where, you know, the flippers are still, they're really helping these neighborhoods come around. And what I've actually seen start to happen is almost a reversal of those flips of like where we've actually had clients purchase flips and then say like, yo, we're going to try to take this backwards and like give it this old vibe. But you're 100% right, Chakits. I mean, man, if you're going to buy a property down there, the whole point is the character. It's the emotion to having something that doesn't look like everything else, right? I mean,
oh, we got $9.99 from Sisu. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
From who?
I think it's called Sitsu.
that one scared me a little bit. You know what I mean? I was like, oh,
that's messed up, Dan.
I'm like, oh.
We just got paid $9.99.
You sounded like you said something like a dog or something. He said Shih Tzu. I was like, what are you talking about?
Hey, Dan. All I see is it's negative $9.99 now. That's messed up.
No, you said. What did you say?
I don't know how you pronounce this, but I think it's called Sitsu. Sitsu? Is that how you pronounce it?
How close is that for what I just said? That's like.
Oh yeah, forgot. We have one more person right next to me.
Is that how you say it?
Is that how you say it? I don't want to destroy the name. Oh, let's talk about this. Scotch 80s.
Yep.
Okay, where is Scotch 80s located?
Just east of McNeil. So
okay,
let's
so
head back west.
We're gonna go right about
right there.
here,
Charleston. Right? Move up.
Up this way.
So the
west?
northeast corner of Rancho and Oakey. Northeast.
Northeast.
Other way.
Oh.
Right there.
It's right here, isn't it?
That's Scotch 80s right there.
Let's talk about Scotch 80s. What's going on here?
Yeah, Scotch 80s is going to be another like multi-million-dollar area of downtown where it just has really cool history. It kind of goes back to that same thing of where like the movers and the shakers of original Vegas lived over in Scotch 80s. Yeah. And it was, I think it's 80 acres that was actually purchased and kind of saved by an investor from Scotland, and that was how it got its name. He had bought that plot of land with the idea that he was going to really turn it into like the place of downtown. And you know, Scotch 80s is one of those things where there's some really, really, really cool homes in there. And there's still some room for improvement. You know, I think we're still going to see Scotch 80s come around. There's a couple.
Oh, we got $1 from Veer. Thank you. I appreciate that.
From Veer?
Yep.
Oh, he's the man, dude.
He's the man.
He's always
sorry about that.
No, you're good, dude. I love it.
That's just part of the show.
Yo, I love it, man. It's like each one is like a little like an injection of energy. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, who actually bought all this land? You were saying?
It was back in the day. It was an investor from Scotland who purchased that land and wanted to make it like the area of Vegas. You know what I mean? Like if you owned a casino or you were somebody, he wanted you to live in there.
Isn't that crazy? Back then, Fremont Street was literally the strip, and if you could have a house somewhere around there, like within 2 miles, you were doing something.
Yep.
But now, it's the Las Vegas Strip. Everybody wants to be about the Las Vegas Strip.
Is the value, like we all know that
hell yeah,
properties are increasing, but the value has it sustained itself, like let's say compared to other zip codes?
And like maybe I'm impartial because I love it, but I think almost better than other areas because anytime that you have an area that's improving, you tend to see home values go up more, right? And so what I say is like this: it's to me, I look at home values as supply and demand. Yeah. So if I have 10 homes and only one buyer, I'm not going to sell those homes for very much. But if I have 10 buyers in one home, now all of a sudden we're going to see that value of that house go up. And what's happening with areas like downtown Las Vegas is the people that want to live in a older home with mature landscaping in the city, super close to everything, it's not slowing down, especially as, you know, look, if you've lived in Henderson for 20 years, you might be like, nah, that's not really my vibe. But if you're moving from LA, San Francisco, Austin, Texas, Miami, New York, Chicago, you're like, yo, this shit feels like home, right? And you can't build build a home from the 1960s anymore. It's a limited supply, and the demand as people move from out of state
I think one of the benefits here and where it really holds its value, it's number one, you're getting the dirt and how close you are to the center of the valley. And I think that's the reason why it really retains its value.
I mean, let me say this. So I think great points. I always look at it from maybe just a different angle, just to kind of say, okay, so we can't on the show because you're realtors and we're not going to say this is a bad area, but is the crime rate different?
Crime happens everywhere,
but,
right?
Good answer.
So crime, man, that's the thing, right? Again, maybe
just because you're in a gated community doesn't mean you're safe.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Because
are you going to see more brown people, black people, LGBT?
Oh, CC, we got another $5 for the super chat. Thank you very much.
Are you going to see homeless? 100%. You're going to see all that. And are you uncomfortable with that? That's cool, man. There's other parts of the city, but the people that want to live down there, they want to live down there, right? So I don't know if you've ever been to LA. I don't know if you've been to Orange County.
Good way to put it.
But that's really right. Like that is the lifestyle. Is like you live in LA, dude. It's a dope vibe. Like it's cool. If you, I can guarantee there's a lot of people who wouldn't love it. You know what I mean? But the amount of people who love it, and that's what downtown feels to me. The people that are living down there, you know, we're smart about it, dude. We live in an improving neighborhood. We have security cameras. We have Ring. We have an alarm system.
Yeah, I think it's just like this. So when I bring that up, it's because I try to bring the real part of it. 100%. Right? And it's like, we can paint that picture like, dude, this is all great. But SUMMERLIN, places like Henderson, they're isolated or pushed out, and they have, you know, relatively it's newer areas. I'm not saying it's bad, but then there's not a lot of traffic congestion for people to go there because you got a lot of things around the downtown, 100%. Everybody. So you got a lot of transient traction, right, of people. So that's why I say it's different. You got to know what the vibe you're getting into.
Well, Charleston from west to east, it's going to be one of your main sector roads. So a lot of things are going on there, especially when you have that medical district too as well. However, what I've noticed is that if you drive into these communities late at night, it's quiet.
It's quiet.
And you got to have your gun and your... No, I'm just playing.
I got bear mace. I got a knife in this pocket.
Bring it in your glove compartment. You'll be good.
You know what I mean? Nah. You know, man, we tell our clients, Metro has crimemapping.com. And you can pull up crime mapping to see kind of what's going on in different places. And are you going to see a cluster of stuff happening in downtown? 100%. You know what I mean?
It's just different.
It's not. So if you look at that cluster though, and you start to look at other parts of the valley, even for West Side, it ain't all that different, right? It's not like it's like this 90% happening in downtown, and then Vegas has the other 10%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, is it active? You're gonna see some active crime mapping in downtown.
It's just a lot of people. Like when you have people active, like you
it's
go to
very
Decatur,
highly dense,
right? You go to Decatur and you go closer to the Strip, downtown, even the newer part.
Yeah.
You're gonna just see a lot more things happening. It's not necessarily all bad. It's just there's just different things happening. Dynamic,
100%.
all kinds of different vibes.
100%.
And so when you go in the outskirts, let's say you go to SUMMERLIN, pushed out.
Yeah.
Henderson, pushed out. You got like Grand Teton, North Las Vegas, all that stuff, newer, pushed out. It's all further away from that congestion.
But it's also a little bit of a facade, right? Because again, it almost gives you this feeling like something bad can't happen in SUMMERLIN.
Oh, they go those neighborhoods.
But bro, you know what I mean? People, you know what I mean? You pull it up and you're going to see break-ins in downtown. You're going to see break-ins in SUMMERLIN. You know what I mean? So I think at the end of the day, it's just being smart, man. You live in a metropolitan city where this isn't Pahrump or Victorville, right? Like, this
Victorville.
is, you know what I mean? Like,
hey, aren't you from Victorville?
Yeah, I am, bro. You know what I mean?
Apple Valley.
This is, and that's probably not even a good, you know what I mean? But we're not in a small little town where everybody knows you. This is a metropolitan city, and in a metropolitan city, you're going to have bad things happening, and it's about, my perspective is about being smart.
It's good and bad. I'm not going to say all of that's bad. I'm just saying it's a blend, and I'm going to say
100%.
that when you have, it's like averages. Like if you have more people, there could be more things that could happen. That doesn't mean it's going to happen.
100%.
But you also have to know the vibe.
Yeah. You know, one thing about downtown that I don't like, it's they don't have enough homes for sale, or they don't have enough to supply all the demands down there. Which I noticed that they are starting to build like apartment complexes down there, which is great because all the people that want to move down there. So I thought that was kind of cool, but I think we need more housing, right? High rises down there. But also what I realized is that there's no grocery shopping right off of Fremont or anything like that with all the people living down there. So I think that's like one of the negative things, unless you go up or down Charleston, then you can actually get into that.
It's all in due time though, right? And so before Whole Foods is going to move in, you know what I mean? Whole Foods is the company that wants to see like, okay, is there the supply and demand, or is there demand for what we can supply? And it's only a matter of time until we start to see like a Sprouts or a Whole Foods pop up downtown.
Is it because it's kind of like that vibe where it's like, I wouldn't say hippie, but it's kind of like,
it's a new hippie. It's like a
almost,
young.
Yeah, it's like a young vibe of like, we got a different mindset.
So we're just eating outside,
right?
Yeah, we're just gonna go to restaurants.
Is that kind of what?
I think it's because it's being literally renovated. It's being revitalized, right? And so like 10 years ago, bro, like no, you know, I mean, the people who the area was hurting 10 years ago, and so there's they're not shopping at Whole Foods or Sprouts when half the houses are being foreclosed or short sale.
Sure.
Whereas I think now, again, like our clients are very much like young, successful, or even a little bit older, like professionals. And it's only a matter of time until I think we see that grocery shopping. But it's just that, again, it's that people, we always want everything like now and immediately to be perfect. But I think that's what I'm saying. Like 5 to 10 years, that's where downtown is going to be. It's going to have like that.
Dude, a home is like over $350,000 there.
Yeah.
In the areas where I was flipping properties.
Yeah.
I mean, it's expensive. Like you can't even. My home that I live in right now is not even worth $350,000. I bought it for a lot less.
No way! What?
It's crazy. You see what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah.
You got to go buy downtown.
I guess so.
Sell now.
I ain't selling nothing. Let me tell you why, man. Because like the people that I have in my rental properties down there, young, hip, they work down the street. They literally walk to work.
Yep.
But once they come inside their house, like it's like a whole different oasis. Like you don't know. That's the thing about the culture downtown. It's like everything is like going in front of your house. Like there's like mayhem, right? People are walking.
That's what
things
I'm
are
saying,
happening.
yeah.
As soon as you leave your house, you're like, wait, I'm in it. But then as soon as you go in your house, right? Like my tenants, they have a gate and all that stuff. Once they get in, dude, it's like quiet.
Well,
it's like a whole different vibe.
Yeah, but
like you're in and out of the mix, dude. It's crazy.
There's certain things that's good about that. But
Yeah.
you have to be a certain character.
100%.
Exactly.
It's not for everybody.
Lifestyle.
Because I want to go home and decompress. I don't want to I don't want to look outside and I got people walking past my door, my house
but
and stuff.
look, that's if
it's
you're
just different.
Yeah, but like the amount of people that live on a street where you're going to have like a lot of through congestion, like that's not going to be normal. Most of these communities down there, like you got to turn a couple corners. You're not on a main street. You're not actually getting foot traffic. Is there going to be streets down there with foot traffic? Yeah, but that's one of the things. Like that's one of the big red flags when we're helping clients purchase, right? Like I don't want to be for the most part homes to resell that back a major road that are on a major road.
Right.
Those are going to sell. Be a little bit more difficult to sell because you have that road traffic, you have the foot traffic. And so those are things we talk to clients about of like, yo, downtown's dope, but maybe let's get a little bit more tucked into the community where we're going to be able to have that like peace and quiet.
So that way you can jump in and out of the mix, right?
Exactly. Cause it really, I mean, I think you almost have this image of like, it's a 24/7 like Venice Beach, California, and just like people everywhere. But
people
it's really
throwing
not,
frisbees and
you know
footballs,
what I mean?
like
yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Straight into your yard, you're throwing it right back at them.
beach house party.
yeah, you know what I mean. But like once you get into the neighborhoods, man, it really is. Like Chakits is saying, it's quiet.
No, it really is.
It really is, and you're a 5-minute walk away from the excitement, but that you're definitely still feeling removed.
So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, right? How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, well, we'd love check out our Instagram, which is The Other Las Vegas, or you can find us on YouTube, Austin and Sam Las Vegas.
Okay. So on your Instagram page, do you mostly do videos or what do you guys put on there?
Yeah, a little bit of a mixture, man. Photos, videos, photos. I mean, that's what I'm like. Oh, those two, mainly. But that's what they support. So we do a little bit of mixture of both. We try to show lifestyle. So The Other Las Vegas came from, we got tired of trying to look up things to do off the strip. And so we said that there's the Strip, and then there's the other Las Vegas, which is that's Red Rock, Valley of Fire, the hiking, the biking, the outdoor activities that you can do. And so we try to do a mixture of both, show off the downtown neighborhoods and show things to do that are off the Strip.
And your YouTube channel?
Austin and Sam, Las Vegas.
All right, cool. Hey, Austin, I just want to say thank you so much
Thank
for
you
coming
guys,
up on the
man.
show.
Awesome
I really do
vibe.
appreciate it. Hell
Energy was great.
yeah. Hey, I'm going to go buy a property downtown now.
Dude, I think he'll leave right now and do it.
Let's go, man. I'll tour with you. You know what I mean? So,
well, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to have a link in the description below. So if you guys are interested in purchasing a property downtown with Austin, I will have all that contact information. Also, don't forget to check us out on social media, YouTube. If you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Until next time, I'm out.